I'd like to welcome our guests, our distinguished members of the Board of Overseers, other supporters of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, our faculty, students, and I want to take special note of Dr. Steve Safier, who's with us, the President and CEO of Montefiore Medical Center, the University Hospital for the Einstein College of Medicine. The faculty of an academic institution really represent its lifeblood, but the overseers and donors are the ones who supply the oxygen that nourishes that lifeblood, empowers it, and allows it to carry out its many functions, ranging from research through education and patient care. I would therefore like to begin by expressing our profound appreciation to those whose foresight and generosity have made this day possible. In alphabetical order, our thanks to Linda and Earl Altman, Diane Belfer, Betty Feinberg, Mildred Goldstein, Ruth and David Gottesman, Evelyn Gruslipper and the Gruslipper Foundation, Marilyn and Stanley Katz, the F.M. Kirby Foundation, Sylvia Olnick, the Reicher family, Judith and Bert Resnick, the Wilf family, and the National Women's Division of Einstein. We are going to introduce now several new faculty members. Now, I was getting a bit carried away, I have to admit, with this blood metaphor, and I was going to go into a whole spiel about blood doping in elite endurance athletes. I realized only Vic Schuster, our chair of medicine and marathon runner, would appreciate that whole thing. So I will spare you. But let me just cryptically say that the new faculty members really represent a much-needed infusion or transfusion, if you will, that help bring new life into an already vibrant institution. So it is my pleasure to begin this academic convocation by introducing to you 4 outstanding individuals. And for this portion of our ceremony, I want to ask our Executive Dean, Dr. Edward Burns, to join me at the lectern. Will Dr. Craig A. Branch please join us, as well as Einstein alumna and overseer, Dr. Evelyn Lipper. It is my privilege to present Dr. Craig Branch, Associate Professor of Radiology. Dr. Branch is being installed as Director of the Gruss Magnetic Resonance Research Center. Craig, although you've been a member of the Einstein faculty since '97, you've been doing that, I believe it's Orange County, where the Nathan Klein Institute is located, and there you've been leading that institute's Center for Advanced Brain Imaging. So you've only arrived in the Bronx earlier this year, and you are now assuming a key leadership position as director of the MRC. You've already overseen the renovation of the center, including the installation of a state-of-the-art 3 Tesla magnetic resonance imaging and spectroscopy system, along with an overhaul of the existing 9.4 Tesla imaging and spectroscopy system. The center supports magnetic resonance imaging research in numerous health-related disorders, areas such as neuropsychiatry, cancer, cardiac, and metabolic disorders. It will also support studies of cognition, development, and the creation of new imaging technologies, and at the same time offering expanded learning opportunities for Einstein students as well as clinical and basic science investigators. Your own excellent research focusing on the development of MRI-based measures of brain function and their application to brain disorders, such as a recent paper with your fellow colleague and associate director of the center, Michael Lipton. You showed for the first time that an imaging technique can detect brain damage caused by concussions using the diffusion tensor imaging methodology. And this is the type of work that we hope to see go forward and emerge from this newly revitalized center under your leadership. So with that, the certificate presented to you by Dr. Burns, and we'll get the photo opportunities. Will Dr. John Fox please join us? The President, Kathy Weinberg, and the immediate past President, Bambi Felberbaum, of Einstein's National Women's Division, please join us as well. It is my privilege to present Dr. John Fox, Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Fox is being installed as the Director of Research at the Children's Evaluation and Rehabilitation Center. Dr. Fox, this ceremony affords us the opportunity to welcome you back to Einstein, where you received both your master's and doctoral degrees in neuroscience, and then served as an adjunct instructor in the departments of neuroscience and of psychiatry and behavioral sciences. When you officially arrive at Einstein in January, you will take on this new key role as Research Director for Children's Evaluation and Rehabilitation Center, CERS, as we abbreviate it. Under your leadership, Einstein's neuroscience and neurology researchers will be brought together with CERS's renowned clinical and training programs, bridging basic, behavioral, and translational research efforts with the goal of furthering benefits for individuals with developmental disorders. Your own research, which focuses on autism and schizophrenia, will reconnect you with Dr. Craig Branch and Michael Lipton, where you collaborated with them at the Nathan Kline Institute for Psychiatric Research. And as you just heard, Craig will now be leading the Grist Magnetic Resonance Research Center. In addition to your role as a research scientist in the program at Nathan Kline, you currently are professor and director of the program in cognitive neuroscience at the City College of the City University of New York. But that, we hope, will soon be history, and we're looking forward to your arrival on January 1st, 2010. Let me just say that John was kind enough again to join us for a wonderful luncheon that we had at National Women's Day just a week or so ago. And I have to say, he took a high-risk presentation with an incredible multi-sensory perception experiment, dividing the room in half. And you know what? It worked brilliantly, as we hope your leadership here will work. So thank you and congratulations. Please. Will Dr. Bruce D. Rapkin please join us? And will Einstein overseers Marilyn and Stanley Katz please join us as well? Dr. Rapkin is being formally installed as the director of the Marilyn and Stanley M. Katz Comprehensive Cancer Prevention and Control Program. It is my privilege to present Dr. Bruce Rapkin, Professor of Epidemiology and Population Health and Chief of its newly created Division of Community Collaboration and Implementation Science, as well as Professor of Family and Social Medicine. Dr. Rapkin, earlier this year, you came north to the Bronx from the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, where you served as Director of the Community Health and Health Disparities Laboratory, as well as attending psychologist in the center's psychiatry service. In coming to Einstein, you brought with you a team of top-flight researchers, Drs. Thompson, Weiss, and Lounsbury, who will help you implement your exciting plans for the Marilyn and Stanley M. Katz Comprehensive Cancer Prevention and Control Program. You also are leading this new division within the Department of Epidemiology. Under your leadership, the Cancer Prevention and Control Program will bring a vital new dimension to Einstein and its NCI-funded Cancer Center in addressing community health and health disparities in the Bronx. The efforts of your team hold great promise for the development of new methodologies in the primary prevention and early detection of cancer among the Bronx population we serve. This work has the potential to be extrapolated to other populations of similar need throughout the U.S. Dr. Rapkin, congratulations. Will Dr. Roy S. Chuck please join us? While there are a number of donors and supporters that underwrite Dr. Chuck's department, unfortunately, none was able to be with us this afternoon. Nonetheless, it is my privilege to present Dr. Roy Chuck, Professor and Chair of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences and Professor of Genetics. Dr. Chuck is being installed as Chairman of the Department of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences, and as well is the Henkind Chair at the Montefiore Medical Center under Steve Saphir's aegis. Dr. Chuck, you only arrived at Einstein and Montefiore this summer. With your appointment, you became one of the youngest chairs of ophthalmology in the nation, one of only a handful of Asian Americans to ever hold this important position in the United States. You came to Einstein from Johns Hopkins, where you served as Director of the Refractive Surgery Service and as the Tom Clancy Professor at the Wilmer Eye Institute of Johns Hopkins Hospital. You've achieved considerable renown as a cornea specialist with expertise in the field of laser techniques for refractive eye conditions. As a physician scientist, you've also operated a laboratory throughout your career, serving as principal investigator on 5 FDA studies of vision correction and holding multiple patents connected to this work. Your 2 main areas of research relate to corneal disease and dry eye, common eye diseases seen in clinical practice. Recently, your research team developed a unique mouse model of dry eye that allows testing of preclinical therapies. You've also spent considerable time conducting stem cell research, particularly as it relates to corneal transplantation and sight restoration. I congratulate you and welcome you to Einstein and Montefiore as chair of our ophthalmology department.